This meeting of the Caldwell City Council, City of Caldwell, Texas, is now called to order. Today's date is Tuesday, March the 19th. A quorum is present, so we will proceed. The invocation tonight will be led by Rhonda Johnson of New Tabor Brethren Church.
First, I'd just like to say thank you to all of our city councilmen and our mayor. Caldwell's a good city. It's a good place to raise children. We raise our 3 boys here, and our grandchildren come. When they come, the things that you all do are the things that are in their memories, and they'll remember for the rest of their lives as being part of Caldwell, Texas. And we're so thankful. David and I have pastored in 7 other cities, and Caldwell is our favorite place that we've lived in. It's evident because we've been here 19 and a half years. But we love how we take care of each other as a community, and we love how we support each other as a community. And we have been recipients of that in our latest events with our church fire, and we just are so thankful for this city. We want you all to know, City Council and Madam Mayor, that your work here matters, and what you do is important and appreciated. And we want to say thank you on behalf of the clergy and the pastors in the city. Jesus spoke to Nicodemus, who was a member of the Sanhedrin, who was a city council member in Jerusalem. And he said to him what is probably the most known scripture in all the world, and it is John 3:16. He told Nicodemus, "For God so loved the world, he gave his only son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life." And your job here is very important. Caldwell is considered a small town on a scale nationally, but to those of us who live here, it's the biggest town in the world. And your job is big and important, and we thank you so much. My personal goal and dream is that every person in Caldwell would hear the gospel. And I'm currently working on a plan to try to make that happen. And I ask for your prayers in the coming days towards that goal. But I'd like to pray and welcome and open the city council now. Father, I thank you, Lord, for your servants that are here on your business and on your behalf. And I thank you, Lord, for the time that they spend for our city. And I thank you, Lord, for the sacrifice for their families. And I thank you for the good work that they're doing for us. I ask for your wisdom, and Lord, I pray that you give them each just direction in all of the decisions that they make. And I pray, Lord, that you would touch them as they run for office. I pray, Lord, that you would just bless their elections and their re-elections. And I pray, Father, that you would just minister to every need that our city and community has, and that you would bless our citizens with safety and with blessing of our crops, blessing of our industry and our commerce. We just pray these things in your precious holy name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge to the American flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Texas flag.
On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one indivisible.
All right, good afternoon and welcome to any visitors we have today. Glad you made it out this evening. Do we have any citizens to speak on either? Okay, next item on the agenda consists of the minutes from the last meeting, some additional considerations. Are there any discussions about the consent agenda items? Any additions or corrections to the minutes? If not, the minutes stand approved as presented. We have a motion to accept the items on the consent agenda. So motion, do we have a second? All in favor of accepting the items on the consent agenda, raise your right hand. None opposed, motion passes. Next, regular agenda items. First one, setback variance request for an addition to a carport located at 100 South Thomas Street.
So tonight, this setback request is for residential property, which is right down the street from here. Ms. Cooper is the applicant. She's requesting for the setback to be varied from the rear property line. So right now, there's an existing concrete slab that's poured, and it's got about 12 feet, and it's 8 feet from the property line. And the carport that they were in the process of building was a 3-bay carport, and it stopped from 12 feet back from where that existing slab is. So they were wanting to basically extend the remaining piece of that carport out to the 8-foot setback. So instead of it being partially not covered the concrete slab, they want to cover the whole thing up to that 8-foot setback.
So that's a side setback.
This is a rear setback.
And it's coming to 10 foot.
So yeah, this one was basically already existing, so it was 10 foot. The new ones are 25. Do you have anything to add?
Oh, well, I'm a little confused. There isn't a concrete slab there.
Oh, I thought you said that there was. Oh,
We just wanted to add another 12 feet. Because that 25 feet variance is, I mean, 25 feet setback is just, it looks funny. I have pictures on my phone you can see. Because it just sits so far off to the side of the driveway. So I'd like to just add another 12 feet to that carport. So it kind of balances it out a little bit.
Could you pull it up?
the street view. That's fine.
With that 25 foot setback and that, because my property is 150 feet long, it's a third of my property is in the setback where I can't do anything with both.
So there's the house, the area that they built the carport, and then this would be the outward property.
So that's going to the west of where it's showing the boat now?
Correct.
Okay. And that's 20, the offset was 25 feet to begin with. And we're on, and she's asking for it to be 10 feet. Is that what you're saying now?
You've done a lot of work to that house. Big improvement. It's sat abandoned for a long time.
Is that where the A-frame is right now? Okay. Okay. Okay.
I make a motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor of approving the setback variance request for an addition to a carport located at 100 South Thomas Street, raise your right hand. None opposed, motion passes. Next, setback variance request for the proposed St. Mary's Rectory located at 403 West Old San Antonio Road.
So this is the existing Casey Field property. There's part of the parking lot is on the other side of this. So the church is going to be building an office directly where the parking lot is located between Truax and the parking lot. And then the rectory will be built to the east of that. And it'll have a driveway off of Truax, and then it'll face OSR. So the Casey Field will still be in front of the rectory. So all they're asking here is just a basically 20-foot setback instead of 25-foot setback from the rear of the property, which would be on Truax Street. So they're proposing right now that it'll be about 22 feet from the property line.
Okay, the offset, what street is the one with the 22-foot?
Correct.
Okay.
Which would be the rear.
Which we're gonna use, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
Oh, that's across the, oh, okay.
It looks like.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, that could be something. Okay, I'm with you now. Okay.
I move we accept this.
Yeah.
The Catholic Church.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of the approving the setback variance request for the proposed St. Mary's Rectory located at 403 OSR, raise your right hand. None opposed, motion passes. Next, amend a preliminary plat for Whitetail Run subdivision, parcel IDs number 12243 and 12242, with an additional variance requested for the minimum length of a cul-de-sac street.
So this item, y'all remember back in October, November, we brought forward the preliminary plat. There was a variance request for the easements around that subdivision. This is going to be to amend the preliminary plat that was already adopted, because the drainage study that they did for the project determined that they needed to have most of the drainage flow from south side of the property towards the north side of the property. So therefore, they had originally included a through street in the middle of the subdivision, and they wanted to basically take that out and put a cul-de-sac in. So that way, the drainage will actually go back towards the north and then flow back into this detention pond that they're going to build. And then the reason for the variance request, in addition to the amended preliminary plat, is because the length of the cul-de-sac is beyond the 600 feet that's allowed by the ordinance. It would propose 720 to 750 feet. And so therefore they need the variance request in order for it to comply with the standards of that. The applicants here, if you have any questions for that.
It doesn't interfere, as you told me earlier, with any type of other codes like fire, rescue, or anything.
Correct. So the fire code says that you can't have more than 30 homes on one access. So this still meets that because they have 28 homes. So they still are under that code requirement. And as far as the other access to the property, they'll have the two accesses off of Main Street, and then the stub out for the future access going back towards Sunny Street, and then potentially to Fairview Drive.
That was one of the concerns for everybody about the drainage anyway, and in our first meeting way back. If this is gonna help, I'm not an engineer, but
Yeah, they moved a lot of the drainage area to this northeast corner of the property, whereas some of these lots were proposed originally as a drainage area. And then they also had this side drainage area that was taking up a little more space on this side, so they were able to kind of reconfigure that back portion to basically allow more volume.
So the lot size still say the same?
Yes, the lot size did not change. So there's which they didn't request.
Yeah, it was 55 I think we're 55 by 120 is our minimum. There might be a few that are 59 by 15 or so, but for the most part, 55 by 120.
For the guests, if you don't know where that is, that's gonna be a big subdivision behind Walmart and Berkshire Brothers. Big pasture area gonna be developed. Any further discussion, House? Okay, do we have a motion to approve the amended preliminary plat for Whitetail Run subdivision, parcel IDs 12243 and 12242, with an additional variance requested for the minimum length of a cul-de-sac street? Do you have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do you have a second?
I said,
All in favor, raise your right hand. And none opposed, motion passes. Next, multiple variance requests for the proposed West Southgate subdivision parcel ID number 10680, concept plan pertaining to lot sizes, setbacks, and pavement width.
So this item, the applicant's requesting that we postpone this to the April meeting. They were not able to make it tonight, so they did not want to proceed with the council decision, but I didn't know that till after the agenda.
I can have a motion to postpone.
So moved. Question about that one. What was the lot, because I remember that this was a lot with, what was the lot width on the first houses?
The first ones were 55. They didn't have a variance.
Would that be voted on in different, because this request is on 45.
Yes, yeah, this.
Would be like the three part of it and then.
So when you make the motion, you know, we'll be able to determine which one you want.
I'll make a motion to postpone it. I'll second it.
Okay, there you go. All in favor of postponing, raise your right hand. None opposed, motion passes. Next, resolution number 032024B, Texas Department of Transportation Reconstruction Grant for runway, taxiway, and electrical improvements to the Caldwell Municipal Airport.
So we brought this to council last month. We did not, we did a resolution for it, so the council acted already, we talked about this last, and the amount's gonna be anywhere from, was it 575,000 to 700,000, but I just need it to be official with this resolution. So unless there's any more discussion or questions on it, that's what we're asking for here.
Motion to adopt resolution. Motion to adopt a resolution Texas Department of Transportation Reconstruction Grant for runway, taxiway, and electrical improvements to the airport. Do we have a motion? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. None opposed, motion passes. Next, resolution number 032024C, submission of a Post Oak Savannah groundwater conservation grant for well rehabilitation projects.
So this will be the first of two resolutions that come in. This is a well rehab project that we completed over last year. We are eligible to do some little changes to apply for this funding through Post Oak Savannah. So we are asking them to fund $450,000 or to reimburse us for $450,000 worth of work that we did. That is 70% of the project. We feel like we put together a really good application for that project, and this is a part of that application. We have a resolution from the council supporting it. So
Is that for the 3 wells?
that's for the 3 wells that we rehab. Yes.
We have a motion to accept resolution number 032024C. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. And opposed, motion passes. Next, resolution for number 032024D, submission of a Post Oak Savannah groundwater conservation grant for advanced metering infrastructure project.
As I said, this would be the second one. We've kicked around the idea of bringing AMI into this. Again, I think we have a really good application for this. I'd like to see both of them get funded from Post Oak. Not sure where it will be. This one, we're asking for $300,000. The water portion of the AMI project, I believe, is going to come in right at about $1 million. So that would leave the city funding 70% of that. One of the reasons I chose that amount is to score a little bit higher on the grant application. So that's where this is at right now. I know we've got an RFP out for this project, but the deadline for this grant submittal is Friday of this week. So we wanted to get this in front of council just so we can get it submitted. I'm not sure if we fund it or not, but we certainly wanted to try. So any questions on that? Happy to answer.
How'd you get the no less than 676,000?
So
24.
I'm glad you asked that question. So what I've done is I went through a quote that we had gotten. Just, it was kind of a buy board quote, and I tried to pick off those things that were water related. You know, I'm not going to ask for the electric money from this group. One of the things that I want to see if y'all decide to approve this motion, I may help with the language, but I'm going to fine tune it. I've got, it's from the same quote, just have them pull out just the water infrastructure. And I think it'll end up being $1 million or a little bit above. So I'd like to be able to amend this resolution to have those better numbers when I get them. That way, for every percentage point that we match or fund, it's another point on the grant. So if we turn this 70% into 80%, well, that's 10 more points for us in the scoring rubric. So like, make sure we get as much as we can.
I move we accept this resolution.
Do we have a second?
Hold on.
All in favor?
Hang on.
What's the language that you would need?
So because you, we need to just, you moved to approve the resolution with an amendment that the pledge amount or pledge matching funds must not be less than 70%. So that gives him, in the event that we go up to 80%.
Okay. Sounds good. That's my motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Okay, all in favor, raise your right hand. None opposed, motion passes. Thank you, Melissa. Next, resolution number 2024E, an investment program through Texas class to achieve goals set forth in the city of Caldwell's investment policy.
Sure. Council will remember it's been probably a year since we brought the investment policy in front of council for approval. One of the strategies that we wanted to do was we wanted to move our money out of just sitting in the bank, drawing very little interest into some investment pools to where we hopefully, especially right now, earn a lot more interest. So Texas class is one of the groups that we met with and feel like they'd be a good partner for the city. So this is essentially a money market account that we're going to get paid right now. We're earning 1.65 students. Today they're paying about 5.25% interest. So in terms of revenue and what we intend to move, we're looking to move probably about $10 million over into this fund and hopefully bring in $400,000 to $500,000 in interest per year. So this will really help. It'll go a long way. Talk more about that in the next item, but this is just, if approved, this will allow us to begin a relationship with Texas class.
It's a good deal, guys. Okay, do we have a motion to adopt resolution number 03224E?
I should say before this, we did meet with their partner investment committee and kind of informed them of it, and that their direction was to move forward with it.
Okay, all in favor, raise your right hand. None opposed, motion passes. And next, fleet management for the Caldwell Volunteer Fire Department.
All right, me again. So third time's a charm on this, I think. We have brought a couple of different a couple different apparatuses here. First one didn't quite work out. I had miscalculated or misheard or something, the mileage. And it was more money than I wanted to spend for a truck with 80,000 miles on it. Second one we brought a little bit lower price tag, but then kind of had some concerns about how we grow with a single cab truck. And then what I was really looking for, because we put very little miles on our trucks, we average about 1,000 miles a year. So right now we've got a 96 model truck sitting over there with about 20,000 miles. So when we go and we invest $800,000 to $1 million in a fire pumper, keep it for 20 years, and it's probably worth $20,000. And we can look at it as, that's kind of the cost of doing business, but I kind of wanted to look at it a different way. So one of the things I've been looking for is basically a lease program where we could have a long-term lease and then either give that thing back, or the company that we buy it from, they buy it back from us. Safe Industries came by last week and we looked at a brand new truck, Spartan truck. It was a 2024 Spartan truck. A couple of guys from the department looked at it, outfitted, it's ready to go right now. They might make a couple of updates if they need a couple of things upgraded. So, okay, stop me if you got questions. The price of the truck itself is $689,300. Now they've offered a package that ends up costing $769,300. With that package, they will warranty that truck basically bumper to bumper for 7 or 8 years, depending on the term that we choose. They will also come out and do the pump tests on it annually. They have to be annually pump tested. They will also come out and do annual PMs. So all of that's included in the extra money. I know it seems like a lot, but I know we looked at pump tests already and the PMs and the warranty. It's a good deal. You also have to remember that we have volunteers that are, operating these things. They get full-time jobs. So, it's not always the best option to kind of rely on them or expect them to come in and do PMs outside of the work that they're already doing for us. So with that, depending on the term we were to choose, let's say we have 7 years. This company, we would own the truck outright in 7 years. This company, Safe Industries, is willing to, they're going to write up a full contract. They would buy the truck back from us at the end of 7 years for $365,000. Or we could do an 8-year term and they would buy it back for $330,000 at the, once the 8 years is up. If we decide that we want to keep the truck, well, we own the truck. We can just keep it if we're at that point. But if we want to look at kind of fleet management going forward, we've got to find a way to, I guess, not keep losing so much money on it. I just feel like this might be a better way for us to tackle fleet management and make sure that we keep the guys that are protecting us, the guys and girls that are protecting us, in equipment that is going to, it's going to perform when they need it to. So with that, any questions there?
Is this new or is it used?
This is a brand new truck.
Okay, I just want to make sure because we talked about some new ones being $1 million or so.
And so this one, they've done some different things on this. It's not going to be, I don't know, how would you say?
It's not gonna be the like a Cadillac versus a Volkswagen. It's mostly manual controls. The one we got now is got electronic. We had issues with that sometimes. This one is like Cameron said, it's ready to go. They get 1200 miles on it. To me, that's nothing.
A little bit different than 80,000.
But it's something that we discussed. That's why we got back down on the last truck. To where in the long run, I think it's going to benefit the city, benefit us. Part of the contract is if something minor comes in, they'll send a mechanic here, take care of it. If something major takes place with the warranty, they would take it and we could own it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we had a good discussion.
Are we paying interest on this or?
So, yeah, I wanted to answer your question about the
Okay,
truck,
I'm sorry.
and then I'll address the finance.
Okay.
So, any other questions or comment? I mean, on the warranty, or do you rather see? I think the package is the right way to go. I think that's going to make sure that we protect our investment and then their investment if they do buy it back from us later.
Does that include the maintenance?
Yes, that includes.
That's what you told me.
Correct. So the maintenance on it, all the PMs, all the pump testing, any warranty.
Really come time.
We won't burn through tires.
Well, I mean, I've checked into these things.
Yeah.
You can get it down to
Anything
time.
that's used is
warehouse.
Yes.
It's not.
But still, I mean, your PMs, they're gonna do,
So the manual controls versus electric is okay with y'all? I mean,
You know, we can set our own, it's, the issues with sometimes with the electronic is, if you're not familiar with that, and you hit the button, we got like RPMs and pressure, you can lift somebody off the ground. You can move them. But with the mechanical, you can set everything, and all you gotta do is just open it up. And you have control. With the volunteers, it's not like the pay department where you got 4-man crew at least on the truck. Volunteers, you can actually have 2, and one can run it, and it's simple.
This truck will also, we call it, custom cab. So you can ride at least 4 people on this. So if we decide to move in the future, that we would actually have a staffed or a hybrid department, we'll have room for everybody to roll in the truck. So I mean, that was another kind of factor that we looked at. So, a couple of things to think about. I left it as fleet management for our volunteer fire department. So basically, step one is I want to know if this sounds good or if this is something y'all want to look at. And then, or do we want to look at the used trucks? I've also learned in this process that National Fire Protection Agency Association recommend we replace these things after 20 years. So, that's something that we're going to have to look at every 20 years. Or, I just feel like we need to start managing our fleet. So as we think about it, the terms of the deal. Yes, we will be paying interest. So there's 3 ways to pay for this thing. One is pay cash today. Second would be the 7-year term, and the interest is 5.77%. The payment for that over 7 years is $129,241 per year. And then there's an 8-year term, same interest rate. That payment's $116,076. Now, when you look at it, that last year from year 7 to year 8, the cost of operation on that thing dropped significantly. We're only losing $35,000 on what I'll call the resale value. So, I mean, to me, I think it kind of makes sense to keep it for the 8 years. But I'm definitely open to comments and questions on that, any of it. Discussion. If we do the 8-year term, they buy it back for $330,000, or we keep it. So your cost of operation is going to be $55,000 a year. I mean, it's just something we're going to have to deal with. We're going to have to look at replacing the other pumps within the next 3 to 5 years. We've got it in the shop right now. Just kind of, we've got a good 3 to 5 years left on that one, but we'll have to start looking at how we replace those.
all right, what are we gonna do with our existing?
We'll sell it for whatever we can get it for. It's going to be the 96 model that we'll be replacing. Like I said, after this, you might get $15,000 for it.
What about the city budget? Would we be able to pay for it without straining our other fleet management of the city?
Yeah, so the fire department has a completely different capital improvement funding, capital replacement funds. So we've got about $1 million sitting there right now. One of the things that we discussed in our investment committee was, if we invest that, we're making 5.25%, we're losing about 0.5% interest, if we decide to finance this thing out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm comfortable doing that to give us the flexibility, because like I said, we're gonna have to make other investments. They actually offered to sell me 2 trucks, and that was, I think the range for that was like $276,000 a year. So, but it basically doubled, a little bit more than doubled what we have right now. Question.
So
Anyway, yeah.
So it's more beneficial to the city operation wise if we do pay it out
if we pay it out, I think, you know, you can, that'll make about $50,000 in interest. It's gonna cut a chunk into that. We normally transfer $20,000 to $50,000 a year from our operating budget in there. So you're already close to your whole payment without really losing any money. So maybe you're out an extra $30,000 a year out of that capital replacement fund just to buy this truck. So yes, it is.
Well, I think the guaranteed buyback, they're guaranteeing you a number. So if we bought it out, right, we probably would not have that. And plus, we're gonna have to pay for the preventive maintenance, and we're gonna have to pay for the annual inspection.
You'll have to pay all of that. We've looked at it, and I think these guys would say it's a good deal to do the maintenance program with the warranty.
And I think we can budget it, if we can't do it this year, but we can budget it in October, we can actually budget it.
We would.
Does this truck have to be made?
No, we actually looked at it.
So they brought it here, they've reserved, I told them I was bringing it to council, so they've reserved it for us if council decides to move forward with this. There are some little things that we wanted to add to make sure it was perfect for these guys. So we could have this truck in about a month's time. They do have another one coming down the line that'll be ready in August. That one's gonna be, this is just how the cost escalates so quickly on this. That one's already $40,000 more than this one, just because of where it started in the process.
Where's the company?
This company, they're I know the guy that came by here, the salesman, he's down in Buffalo. I think the company's nationwide.
And, we actually talked to the owner because I saw 6 different companies out. And he owns his own building plant. Like I said, he actually bought 6 different parts.
So it's fairly local. I mean, the salesman is.
Yes. And he's called me like every day. That's the only.
No, really?
That number saved.
Yeah.
Any other questions? I mean, do y'all think this is a good approach as far as fleet management over there? It's really hard because we don't put that many miles on. But at least I feel with this, we at least have a guaranteed buyback on the other end. We can either take that or we can roll it into another truck. You know, so we'll have those options when we get to that point.
Well, on this, I'm not a mathematician like y'all are, but so in other words, we're in 7 years, we get half of the truck back, basically. So that's cheaper. That's in between the first used one and the second used one. So that's in between.
You're buying a brand new truck.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Both of those for 10 years old, and we don't know what kind of maintenance issues we're gonna have. You still have to do the pump test and everything else that goes along with the feeding. So
That's what I'm saying. This sounds like
this is what I was looking at.
good deal.
Why does it have 1,200 miles?
It's a
They're driving around to show everybody. So we're buying the demo.
Originally set up to go to South Texas next month for some convention. And I think 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
This phone
It's
call.
almost no brainer.
And then we had talked about some type of rescreen stuff before all the information that we want. Is what we're talking about.
On the surface, if it needs service, how quick? I mean, are they?
They got a place out of Houston, sure.
Okay.
Like I said, anything that's not major, it would seem. Anything major, it would be it.
So if y'all want to move forward on and we're gonna call this the 2024 Spartan Pumper. We need to know with or without the maintenance plan and how you want to pay for it. So that would be cash up front, 7-year term or 8-year term.
I think we need to go with 8 years and I think we need to
And there's no, interest is the same.
Interest is the same, 7 or 8.
Okay, do we have a motion to authorize Camden to purchase a 2024 Spartan pumper with a maintenance plan with an 8-year financing program?
I'll make a motion.
Do you have a second? All in favor, raise your right hand. None opposed, motion passes.
That's it. No more.
Oh, no more fire trucks.
Taking at least a year break from that.
Time's a charge. Time's a charge. Okay, next, department and community reports. If anybody has any questions on any of those?
Was there a reason our sales tax jumped up or anything other than the county busy, but have a decrease and then big increase or we had next push 24 and pushed it in October. Don't know. I like it. Thinking 25,000 ahead of this half of the year.
Lots of new homes still under construction in Caldwell for permits. People like us moving in. Any discussion, guys? No? Okay. Onward. Administrative and elected officials reports. You want to start?
Sure.
All right.
All right. First thing, I just want to thank Candy for all of her work. So Candy's the one that put together both of these applications for folks in Savannah. We've been struggling, striving to drive ourselves crazy for probably at least 2 weeks trying to get this done. Multiple meetings, so we really appreciate all your work. Let's see, our street sweeper is in. That thing should be out on the street next week, so we're excited about that. The over at Santa Fe Park, the pavilion is down. We're awaiting one more bid to go back with just a regular pavilion, no restrooms or anything, but at least something to be out there cover and look better than what we had. Joining the NOAC field and then the OSR field are really starting to take shape. They're looking really good. We're very happy that we have the support of the community for that. Our reservation system that we set up on our new website is live and ready to go. So we'll be pushing some information out about that.
Reservation for those fields,
For those
all of the fields.
What we're gonna do is, at least Little League fields and then Davidson Creek Park. Little League right now, of course, has priority on those fields, but the other two that can be utilized for several, whatever, will allow reservation. We had a couple of quotes on striping. We're getting that rolling.
Yes.
On striping.
It's about 3 weeks.
Okay. So we'll be pulling that together. I want to say it was our last meeting that we talked about Power 3.
It's the workshop.
The workshop. No, we had a meeting. The wholesale power deal is done. The same week that so the rate on that's 56.75. So it's down substantially. We talked about that. I've heard things. I'm not on social media about the legal notice that we sent out as part of the ERCOT transition. Just so y'all are aware, the timeline on that is not something that we created. I think we've been transparent. A lot of folks, we've done a lot of business, leading up to this point. We've had a lot of discussion on it. The timeline on that, we had to wait for that notice to be approved by the PUC, and that approval came the Friday before we sent it out on Tuesday. We also had a deadline to get it out before that Friday. So, you know, there's still that window up to yesterday, Wednesday, for folks to file their comments. But that wasn't my timeline. That was a timeline that was just given. So if you have any other people approach you about it, we've had several phone calls just kind of asking about what it is. You know, to the regular customer, they're not going to see a difference until it comes to the reliability and things on the back end. So just want to cover that. Had a meeting today with an engineering group on our wastewater master plan that we kicked off. A great meeting. You know, I think it really helped to finally comb in on our scope for the major CIP projects. So we're still continuing with those, and I think we've come up with a solution that's really good, and it's kind of in between those two, but I think it should buy us at least 10 years worth of growth. So kind of what we were trying to find. I was just trying to find that perfect scope but I think it's getting there. So we're continuing to work on that. That's all I have.
That's it?
That's it. It's gonna
Put your pencil up tonight.
do I have anything else?
Mr. Easter?
The status of the new city hall. Temporary city hall.
Truist.
They are moving along on that. We did make a small change order to where we're gonna do a couple more. That it's not the ideal layout, so what we're trying to do is put together as many workspaces as we can. So there were a couple of built-ins up to the front that we've removed, and we're gonna make 2 new offices in the front. We've also found some other little nooks that we can add, what I'm calling like a floating wall, and then create 2 more workspaces. So the change order that we put together is probably going to create about at least 5 more, maybe 6 work areas that will allow, you know, people to kind of be out of all the movement and able to focus a little bit more. So they started demo on that. They're gonna be building walls, but it's moving along. I'm hoping mid-April.
Yeah, that was a closed-in building for safety, security for a bank. And just want to mention the disc golf.
Yes, thank you.
It's all the cages are in, the mulching has been done. We've had nothing but positive feedback from the Brazos Valley disc golf team. Some of them came, it was 15 of them one day, and then I think 8 or 9 on Saturday, and they loved the course. They already have a tournament planned in June. Camden's working up a contract with the Army Golf to be able to hold the tournament, and they're already talking 90 to 100 people will be in that tournament. So that brings outside into Caldwell. Some of the comments the guy said I put out even on Facebook, but the cement will be in sometime in the next several weeks with the signage. And once that happens, I think you're going to see a great interest in it, because the people that came over from Brian Disco said they can come to Caldwell quicker than they can go to the course from A&M to their course that they played before. So if we had 3 or 4 tournaments a year, would be outstanding. And there we're talking that they will have it collegiate ready within 2 years. So if that's the case, then you could have people coming from all over. So it's exciting. It may fizzle, I hope not, but it makes the back of the park also opens up more walking trails and everything else. That's all I have.
Your turn.
So I gave each of y'all, Mayor and I we are on the board of directors, or on the board at Brazos Valley Council of Governments. We're making a big push to help people understand exactly what the DB cog does and how much in financial support they provide the counties. And this one was what they supported in Burleson County. Now that's Burleson County, so that includes Smithton, Somerville, and Caldwell. But we are the bigger town. But that just kind of gives you a clue of how much financial support that they give through grants and stuff from the government to the citizens within Burleson County. And it's very good, a lot of good programs. So they're hoping to do this every year just to update us and let us know how much they provide to our communities. I wanted to share that with you. And that's all I have.
Big event is May the 10th. So if the city has any projects, we need to let them know so kids can help and do whatever. Picking up trash, flower beds, painting, park, civic center, library, all those things. And then publicly thank you guys for your help with the fire, the house that burned down. There were critical conditions that day with a high wind, and it's just a blessing that only 1.5 houses were lost. So thank you you literally risk your lives every time. So we appreciate y'all. And that's all I have. Yes, Jesse?
Progress good. Everyone's pretty busy. And see some closed ones and some of the responses, which is good.
I have one more thing. What is the status of the online citizen reporting thing?
Still pending,
Can you,
but with the new website, that will hopefully get it move a little faster. And so now the new website, if you look on the screen, should just see it, I think, the Discover tab, it actually has the ability for citizens and community organizations to post an event. So they can actually, go on to the website, submit an event to be posted, and it'll be on the community calendar so everybody can see it. So that's a nice feature that we now have. And so basically any event in the area can be posted on it. We had somebody from the same cadets, they actually submitted an event request. So now it's on our community calendar. So anybody can post it. You put like information about registration and all of that on there. So if anybody's interested in posting an event or sharing an event, let them know that they can post it. And then it goes to staff to be approved before it's actually posted.
Okay, that was my next question. It's gonna,
We have to approve it.
okay, thank you.
So the zoning ordinance is in the process. They're trying to get a draft together for the building and flood image and prevention ordinance. So those two we have to do that will review. They haven't said when they're expecting to have those drafts ready to bring forward to the council, but I can get an update in the next week. But still on track so far for October is the end date for all of these. But I can get an update for next week.
The building that covers,
The bill.
the building that covers.
Oh, the building code?
Yeah.
Does it cover what?
What does that cover?
So they'll examine all of the building codes we have adopted and then determine if there's any, and then they put the name for the updates that we need to adopt. So I mean, what we have is 2018 standard adopted, but if there's any extra changes.
One more thing. The green RV mitigation grant, they have released funds for that, so we'll be wrapping up our whole bid package and putting that on bids. So it's a step forward. We've been waiting on that one for a long time. Now that's just to remind you, that's a $5 million grant that's gonna improve full reconstruction on Cliff Street, Harvey lift station, and a lot of sewer and drainage work in this area back here.
All right, all,
So,
how bids.
yeah. So it's good news.
Definitely, really.
Anything else, guys? We have a motion to adjourn.
So
A second. All in favor, raise your right hand. None opposed. Motion, meeting adjourned. Thank you to the visitors for coming.
yes.
See you again.